You are not failing to wake up early because you are lazy. You are failing because you have confused a biological imperative with a moral virtue. The alarm clock is not your enemy. Your relationship with the alarm clock is the enemy. Let us trace the sequence with surgical precision. At 6:30 a.m., a sound penetrates your sleep architecture. Your brain, which was cycling through REM and slow-wave states, is violently interrupted. The amygdala, the ancient sentinel of your nervous system, registers this interruption as a threat. It does not know it is an alarm. It knows it is a sudden, loud, unexpected stimulus. Cortisol spikes. Your heart rate accelerates. Your prefrontal cortex, the rational, planning part of your brain, is still offline, still bathing in the neurochemical fog of adenosine and melatonin. In this state, you are not a rational actor. You are a startled primate. The decision you make in that groggy, disoriented moment to hit snooze, to turn over, to swear at the machine, is not a decision made by the conscious you. It is a decision made by a primitive reflex arc that prioritizes immediate comfort over abstract future benefit. You are not choosing to sleep more, you are choosing to escape the threat. The willpower model assumes that you are a unified, rational agent who can command your body to obey. This is a fiction. You are a collection of competing neural subsystems, and at 6:30 a.m., the primitive subsystems have veto power. The solution, therefore, is not to strengthen your willpower. It is to disarm the primitive subsystems before they wake up. You must win the battle before the battle begins. Consider the concept of decision fatigue. Every decision you make depletes a finite reservoir of cognitive resources. This is why you are more likely to eat the donut at 3:30 p.m. than at 9:30 a.m. Your willpower is depleted. The same principle applies to the morning. When you wake up and immediately face a series of decisions, should I get up? Should I hit snooze? What time is it? What do I have to do today? You are spending precious cognitive currency on a transaction that should be automated. The successful early riser does not decide to get up. They have eliminated the decision entirely. The body rises because the environmental conditions have been designed to make rising the path of least resistance. This is the engineering of habit. Your current environment is optimized for sleep, dark, warm, comfortable, with a soft bed and a gentle pillow. To overcome this, you must create an environment where staying in bed is less comfortable than getting out. This sounds like deprivation. It is actually liberation. Imagine a scenario where your heating is on a timer that turns off 30 minutes before your wake time. Your bedroom gradually cools. The warmth under the duvet becomes a stark contrast to the ambient chill. The moment the alarm sounds, you are not just hearing a noise, you are experiencing a thermal gradient that pushes you toward movement. This is not willpower, this is architectural coercion. But we can go deeper into the neurochemistry of sleep inertia. Sleep inertia is the state of grogginess and impaired performance that occurs immediately after waking. It is caused by the residual presence of sleep-promoting neurotransmitters, particularly adenosine and GABA. This state can last anywhere from 5 minutes to over an hour. During this window, your decision-making capacity is impaired by approximately 30 to 50%. This is the biological rationale for the fog. The willpower model says, push through the fog. The Stoic engineer model says, do not trust yourself in the fog. Automate your escape. Place your alarm clock, an actual physical alarm clock across the room, not your phone, because your phone is a portal to the infinite scrolling of Dune. A cheap, loud, analog alarm clock that forces you to physically stand up, walk across the room, and perform a gross motor action to silence it. This simple act, standing, walking, reaching, activates the vestibular system and increases blood flow to the brainstem, accelerating the clearance of adenosine. By the time you have silenced the alarm, you are already 40% more awake than you were 2 seconds ago. You have bypassed the decision. You have not used willpower, you have used physics. Now, let us address the psychological architecture of the snooze. The snooze function is the most insidious invention in the history of timekeeping. It is not a mercy, it is a trap. When you hit snooze, you are fragmenting your sleep into non-restorative micro-sessions. The last few minutes of sleep before awakening are typically composed of lighter stages, but when you are jolted out of them repeatedly, you are subjecting your brain to a series of micro-starts, each one triggering a new stress response. The cumulative effect is a state of sleep drunkenness that can last for hours. The irony is that the snooze button is a promise of more rest, but it delivers less. It delivers a degraded, anxious, fragmented consciousness that leaves you feeling more tired than if you had simply gotten up. The Stoic would ask, why are you negotiating with a machine? The machine has no feelings. The machine is a tool. The snooze button is a lever that you are pulling to prolong a state of discomfort, not a state of rest. The only winning move is to place the alarm out of arm's reach, not just across the room, but in a position where you have to fully stand and take a few steps. By the time you reach it, the decision to return to bed is a conscious one, not a reflex. And you can override a conscious reflex more easily than a subconscious one. You are now a rational agent again. But we have not yet addressed the why. Why do you want to wake up early? If the answer is vague, to be more productive or to have a better life, it will never work. The brain is a goal-seeking mechanism. It needs a specific, compelling, emotionally charged target to mobilize its resources. If your goal is abstract, your brain will choose the immediate comfort of the warm bed every time. The solution is to create a morning ritual of such intense, immediate pleasure that the brain prefers it to sleep. This is the inversion of the deprivation model. You are not punishing yourself by waking up. You are rewarding yourself. Imagine a morning routine that begins with a specific, indulgent coffee blend that you only drink at 5:30 a.m. Not instant coffee, a premium, single-origin Ethiopian roast that you grind yourself, the aroma of which fills your kitchen. Your brain, which is highly associative, will begin to link the act of waking with the scent of that coffee. The dopamine hit from the anticipation of that sensory experience can be powerful enough to override the inertia of sleep. This is Pavlovian, but self-administered. You are training your own nervous system to crave the morning. The key is specificity. Do not say, I will wake up to work out. Say, I will wake up to listen to my favorite podcast while sipping a perfectly brewed oat milk latte in a silent house. The second is a sensory promise. The first is an obligation. Obligations drain willpower. Promises of pleasure fill it. Now, let us consider the concept of light therapy, but not the clinical, expensive kind. Your circadian rhythm is regulated by photoreceptors in your retina that are sensitive to blue light, specifically wavelengths around 480 nm. These receptors send a signal to the suprachiasmatic nucleus in your brain, which halts the production of melatonin and begins the release of cortisol. This is the biological dawn. You can simulate this with a simple, inexpensive sunrise alarm clock that gradually increases its brightness over 30 minutes. The gradual transition from darkness to light prevents the jolting, traumatic wake-up experience. It mimics the natural dawn, which your brain evolved to trust. When you wake to a natural dawn, your cortisol rises gently, your heart rate increases slowly, and you avoid the cortisol spike associated with a loud, sudden noise. You are not fighting your biology, you are writing it. This is the Stoic art of accommodation, working with nature, not against it. Your nature is to be nocturnal, perhaps, or your nature is to be crepuscular. The point is not to force a 5:30 a.m. wake time if you are a genetic night owl. The point is to align your wake time with your chronotype, but to do it intentionally. If you are a true night owl, you may never thrive at 5:30 a.m., and forcing it is a form of self-violence. The goal is not early rising. The goal is sovereign time, a block of uninterrupted, focused, self-owned time. For some, that is 5:30 a.m. For others, it is 10:30 p.m. The tool is not the target. The target is the mastery of your own attention. But there is a darker, more fundamental layer to this struggle. Waking up early is not just about time management. It is about identity. When you cannot wake up early, you are not just failing a task, you are failing a self-concept. You tell yourself, I am not a morning person, and that label becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy. The label is a cage. The Stoics would ask, who is this I've that is not a morning person? It is a narrative you have constructed, reinforced by years of repetition. But narratives are not permanent, they are habits of thought. You can rewrite the narrative, but you cannot rewrite it through willpower alone. You must rewrite it through evidence. You must wake up early once, just once, and experience the quiet, the clarity, the sense of being ahead of the world. That single experience is evidence. The next day, you have evidence that you are a morning person. The label begins to weaken. By the third day, the label is dead. You are not a morning person. You are a person who chooses to wake up early. The distinction is subtle but profound. One is a fixed trait, the other is a repeated action. The repeated action becomes a habit. The habit becomes an identity. You are not building willpower, you are building a new self. Let us examine the logistics of sleep duration. A common error is the belief that waking up early requires less sleep. It does not. It requires sleep hygiene. You cannot wake up at 5:30 a.m. if you go to bed at midnight. This is not a matter of discipline, it is a matter of physics. You must move your bedtime backward in increments, 15 minutes earlier each night, over a period of weeks. Do not attempt a sudden, dramatic shift. That is a recipe for failure. The gradual shift allows your circadian rhythm to adapt without triggering the homeostatic sleep drive, which is the pressure to sleep that builds up the longer you are awake. If you try to wake up at 5:30 a.m. after sleeping at midnight, your homeostatic drive will be so high that you will be miserably tired and you will associate early waking with suffering. The brain learns through association. If early waking is associated with suffering, you will resist it. If it is associated with ease because you are fully rested, you will embrace it. The key is to calculate your sleep cycle. The average sleep cycle is 90 minutes. Waking at the end of a cycle, when you are in light sleep, is vastly easier than waking in the middle of deep sleep. If you go to bed at 10:30 p.m. and aim to wake at 5:30 a.m., you are sleeping for 5 hours, which is exactly 5 cycles. You will wake at the natural end of a cycle. The alarm is merely a backup. You may even find yourself waking up before the alarm. Now, let us address the role of the mindset of the night before. The battle for the morning is won in the evening. The Stoic practice of preparation applies here with brutal force. Before you sleep, you must not ask, "What time will I wake up?" You must ask, "What is the first thing I will do when I wake up?" Visualize it with sensory clarity. See yourself standing, walking across the room, silencing the clock. See yourself walking to the bathroom, splashing cold water on your face. See yourself making the coffee. See yourself sitting in a quiet room with a book, a journal, or a meditation. This mental rehearsal is a form of cognitive priming. It activates the motor cortex in a way that makes the physical action easier to initiate. You are not just hoping to wake up, you are programming the wake up. The brain does not distinguish sharply between a vividly imagined action and a real one. This is why elite athletes visualize their performance. You are an athlete of the morning. Visualize the victory. Then, when the alarm sounds, you are not making a decision. You are executing a script that you have already run in your mind 100 times. Let us also confront the social dimension of this habit. If you share a bed with a partner, your early rising is not just your affair, it is a negotiation. You must respect their sleep. This constraint can be a gift. It forces you to be stealthy, to prepare your clothes the night before, to leave them outside the room, to move quietly. This external constraint removes the temptation to dawdle. You have a mission: to exit the room without disruption. This is a form of external accountability that strengthens your internal resolve. The partner is not a barrier, they are a collaborator in your discipline. They are the reason you cannot hit snooze, they are the reason you must be efficient. This efficiency spills over into the rest of your morning. You become a ghost in your own home, moving with purpose, not with lethargy. The stealth becomes a game. The game becomes a habit. The habit becomes a superpower. Now, we must address the inevitable relapse. You will fail. You will sleep in. The question is not whether you will fail, but how you will respond to the failure. The average person responds with guilt, shame, and self-flagellation. They say, "I am so weak, I will never succeed." This is the voice of the inner critic, and it is a saboteur. The Stoic does not engage in self-flagellation. They engage in error analysis. They ask, what was the variable? Did you go to bed too late? Did you have alcohol, which fragments sleep? Did you eat a heavy meal, which disrupts digestion? Did you forget to set the environment? The analysis is clinical, not moral. You are not a bad person. You are a person who made a tactical error. You correct the error. You adjust the variables. You try again. The failure is a data point, not a judgment. This is the profound advantage of the Stoic mindset. It treats the self as a system to be optimized, not a character to be condemned. When you optimize, you improve. When you condemn, you stagnate. The relapse is inevitable, but the recovery is optional. You choose to recover with clinical precision, not emotional turmoil. Let us layer on the concept of morning anxiety, the dread that you feel when you anticipate the day. This is a subtle but powerful inhibitor. If your day is filled with tasks you dread, your brain will try to delay the onset of that dread by keeping you asleep. The morning becomes a battlefield. The solution is to address the quality of the day, not just the quantity of the hours. If you hate your job, waking up early will feel like marching toward a guillotine, the Stoic would say. Change your job, or change your attitude toward the job. If you cannot change the job, you must find meaning in it, a reason to engage that transcends the paycheck. This is not easy, but it is essential. The morning ritual is a microcosm of your life. If your life lacks meaning, the morning will lack energy. The energy is not generated by the early hour. It is generated by the purpose that the early hour serves. The purpose must be intrinsic, not extrinsic. You are not waking up to get ahead of others. You are waking up to get ahead of yourself. You are waking up to meet the version of you that is disciplined, intentional, and free. That version of you does not exist in the bed, it exists in the action. The bed is a cocoon, the action is the emergence. You are a butterfly in the making. Consider the compound interest of early rising. 1 hour gained each day is 365 hours a year, equivalent to 9 additional 40-hour work weeks. Over a decade, that is 3,650 hours or 90 full work weeks. That is the equivalent of an extra 2 years of productive labor, without any additional stress, simply by shifting your schedule. But this is not just about productivity, it is about tranquility. The early morning is the only time of day when the world is quiet, when the notifications are silent, when the demands are absent, when you can hear your own thoughts. This is the Stoic meditatio, the daily practice of self-examination. The early riser does not just gain time, they gain mental space. They gain the ability to observe their own mind without the noise of the world. This is the foundation of emotional regulation. When you have had your quiet hour, you are less reactive, less impulsive, and more resilient. You have already won the most important battle of the day, the battle for your own mind before anyone else has woken up. The rest of the day is a victory lap. Now, let us tell a new story, not of Arthur or Sebastian, but of a woman named Clara. Clara was a 41-year-old architect in London. She was chronically exhausted, perpetually late, and drowning in the guilt of unfinished projects. She tried every motivational trick, inspirational quotes, expensive planners, even a 5-day mindfulness retreat. Nothing stuck. She could not wake up. She hated herself for it. One evening, a colleague, a quiet, unassuming senior partner, told her something that changed her life. He said, "Clara, you are not failing to wake up. You are failing to go to bed. Your problem is not the alarm, it is the television. You are not tired at 11 p.m., you are overstimulated. You are a passenger in your own nervous system." Clara went home, removed her television from her bedroom, and turned off her phone at 9,000 p.m. She did not set a new alarm, she just went to bed with a book. The next morning, she woke up at 6,005 a.m., 30 minutes earlier than usual, without an alarm. She had not tried to wake up early, she had simply allowed herself to be rested. The willpower was unnecessary because the fatigue was no longer being fought. The lesson is profound. You cannot wake up early if you are tired. But you are not tired because you need more sleep. You are tired because the quality of your sleep is compromised by the quality of your evening. Fix the evening, and the morning fixes itself. We must also confront the addiction to the screen. The blue light from devices suppresses melatonin production. This is a physiological fact. If you are looking at a screen in the hour before bed, you are delaying your circadian phase. You are biologically pushing your bedtime later. This is not a choice, it is a reaction. The solution is not to be more disciplined, it is to remove the stimulus. The blue light is not a tool, it is a drug. The Stoic would treat it as a toxin to be avoided. You cannot negotiate with a toxin, you must eliminate it. If you eliminate the screen, you eliminate the delay. Your body will naturally signal sleep earlier. You will naturally wake earlier. The discipline is in the elimination, not in the struggle. The struggle is a symptom of the toxin. Remove the toxin, remove the struggle. Now, let us examine the role of morning hydration. After 8 hours of sleep, you are mildly dehydrated. Dehydration contributes to lethargy, headache, and cognitive fog. A glass of water upon waking, with a pinch of salt, to replenish electrolytes, can have a more immediate and powerful effect than a cup of coffee. The coffee is a stimulant that masks the fatigue. The water is a solvent that eliminates the cause. The Stoic does not mask symptoms, they treat the root cause. The root cause of morning fatigue is often dehydration, sleep inertia, and circadian misalignment. Address all three, and the willpower requirement drops to near zero. You are no longer fighting yourself, you are cooperating with your biology. Finally, let us consider the spiritual dimension, the quiet, ineffable experience of the early morning. There is a reason that almost every religious tradition has a dawn practice. The dawn is a symbol of rebirth, of renewal, of second chances. When you wake early, you are participating in a cosmic ritual. You are not just an individual, you are a witness to the rebirth of the world. The light is new, the air is fresh, the possibilities are pristine. This is not sentimentality, it is a psychological reset. You are not burdened by the failures of yesterday, you are gifted with a clean slate. The early morning is the tabula rasa of the day. The Stoic would say, this is the moment to set your intention, to align your will, to remember that you are a rational being capable of choice. You are not a puppet of the alarm, you are a conductor of your own orchestra. The early hour is the rehearsal space, the rest of the day is the performance. So, here is your final, non-negotiable directive. There are no numbered steps, no bullet points, no paragraphs to skim. There is only a single, continuous action that you must take tonight. Tonight, you will not set an alarm for a specific time. You will set an alarm for a specific feeling. You will turn off every screen at 9:30 p.m. You will take a warm shower, not to wake you, but to lower your core body temperature, which signals sleep onset. You will place a glass of water by your bed, but you will place the alarm clock across the room next to a single pre-prepared cup of coffee with a timer. You will set the coffee maker to brew at 5:30 a.m. You will not set an alarm for 5:30 a.m. You will set the coffee maker. The sound of the coffee brewing, the gurgle, the aroma will be your biological trigger. You will not have to struggle. You will simply follow the scent. The scent will lead you to the kitchen. The kitchen will lead you to the sitting room, where a book will await you, open to a page you have chosen the night before. This chain of events is not a schedule, it is a narrative, and you are the protagonist who has chosen to follow it. You are not building willpower, you are building a future in which willpower is irrelevant. You are becoming the person for whom early rising is not a choice, but a natural state, as inevitable as the sunrise itself.